Hi, and welcome back to Pittman's Pumpkin Patch, Pittman's Garden Patch. It is August 2nd, 2021, and as you can see in front of me, we have a ripening pumpkin. This started to turn, I'd say, about maybe 4 days ago, and about maybe a third way there. And this is, of course, in a pumpkin hammock. All it is a simple white sheet cut into strips, tied onto the trellis to support the pumpkin hanging here. And to give you a little contrast in size, there's my hand on the pumpkin. The pumpkin goes all the way down here and all the way up to here. This is a Howden variety pumpkin. That's all of mine are this year. And it's doing really good. I've had those tentworm caterpillars attacking it. As you can see, some of those little white specks there. And so I've had to come out and spray and everything. I'm pretty sure I effectively dealt with them. So hopefully soon I should expect to see this plant send out some new growth in an attempt to try to grow another pumpkin. My guess is this could be it right here. You see this new growth tip coming out. So we'll see how that goes. Oh my gosh. Well, look what I literally just discovered. Squash bug eggs. I was just telling my wife that I have not seen any squash bugs, any evidence of squash bugs out here at all this year. And lo and behold, there's the evidence I needed right there. So that means I definitely have to spray. Okay. Well, the enemy finally found me. All right, well, continuing on. I'm gonna move down over here. This is the growing tip of another pumpkin here, pumpkin vine. And so that's pumpkin number 1. And I move through the jungle here down to what I think is going to be the biggest pumpkin. Let's go all the way down to ground level right in here. And here's pumpkin number 2, and you can see the scarring on it, all these white marks and everything. This is from the tent caterpillars attacking and everything. And of course, the spray seems to have worked. Hopefully I was able to get them before any of them dug inside. Otherwise, they'll eventually just turn the pumpkin to mush. So hopefully I was able to get them in time. We'll see. This started out to be like the run of the litter, but I think this is going to turn out to be the biggest one I got or will get this year. It was a slow grower, but man, it really put on some growth. Probably due to all the rain we've had recently. So that's pumpkin number 2. Let's move over to pumpkin number 3. This is pumpkin number 3. This one was definitely attacked so many times. I would come out here. You can see maybe a little bit of scarring down there, but it's all around on it. Again, those tent caterpillars, they would leave this clear like gel goopy mess on the pumpkin, and that was, I guess, a protective coating for the eggs to hatch, and then they would drill into the pumpkin and start eating the pumpkin for their nourishment. But again, spraying them seems to have done the trick. Hopefully it will. I've gotten to it in time. And I just put this hammock out here, attached it on the trellis, just simple little tie it on to support it because it's hanging from there. All right, so 3 pumpkins so far. So each one of those plants, though, plant number 1, 2, and then the third one back over there where we've started out with. So each one has a pumpkin growing on it. I don't know if this plant's ever going to produce anything or not. It seems to have lost its its vigor. But here is the vine of one of the plants that's coming from way over there. And it's been growing on the trellis, and you can see there's a female flower right there, and so far it's looking pretty good. It seems to be growing, it seems to be holding its own. I will see in a few days or so whether this is going to maintain viability for blooming. We shall see. Okay, so I have been using these little rubber coated tie-ons to try to help guide the vines along here. So I always just move them down, or I undo them and redo them on the next, to try to keep these down. So otherwise they tend to want to grow straight up towards the sky. So I manage them about 1 to 2 times a day on that. So we got a few little new growth spots coming out through here. I think I definitely have to do some spraying because I have powdery mildew setting in over here on these plants here, and it's of course spreading, as you can see. Powdery mildew for sure. So I definitely have work to do, and you can see it just spreading everywhere. We've had so much rain in this particular area right here where these plants are. They got all these big huge trees over top of them, so they don't get as much sun to help dry them out. Other areas don't really have the powdery mildew, but those do. Okay, and in case you're wondering, this is just a simple spray bottle. And what I have in here is a concoction of pyrethrin for instant knockdown power of insects and stuff, and I have BT for the worms, and another product that I think it's called Buggo or Busto or something like that. It's from Monterey. It's an OMRI listed spray for dealing with oh gosh, it's got actually it's got pyrethrin in it also, so it's got a lot of knockdown power in it. So that's what I'm using, and I'll have to come back and clean those eggs off. Now, one trick that I will share with you that just popped into my mind as I'm heading out the gate to the front yard to show you what's going on out there. One thing to deal with those squash bugs, they do not like to get wet. And I'm talking about the adults. Well, none of them do it. But if I start spraying around there, they will, if they're hiding, they will start trying to get up to the very tops of the plants, where you can then try to get them and dispose of them. So that's kind of one trick. If you have your pumpkins growing on the ground or anywhere, if you just start spraying water around the ground, the stems of the plants, if they're hiding down there, that'll chase them and make them start crawling up the stems of the pumpkin leaves and things like that to try to get up to higher, drier ground, because they do not like to get wet. And like I said, that way you can try to get rid of them. So that's just a tip. I'll put on some gloves, because if you squash them, they do stink like a really bad watermelon rind. Just nasty smelling. I guess that's why some people confuse them with stink bugs. Okay, orange trees. This one beautiful. The others are hanging in there. They need to get a little more growth. Pineapple plants put on some good growth this year. Probably won't be till next year before I see anything, hopefully. Got a couple of ginger plants right there, doing decent. Got my bell peppers all in there. They're doing really good. And on to the pumpkin plants. Now, I again have not been doing my due diligence on keeping an eye on my plants, and I lost one of them due to the squash vine borers. And so down one, and what I'm doing is I came in and found more evidence that they're in the other plants too, because I saw the orangey frass, that's the poop from the larva that's inside the plant already. And so I used my syringe and I used straight BT and injected it into the damaged sites where the orange frass was. I just went right in there and just squirted it all in there very liberally, and that should kill them if they're still in there at all. And that'll help the plant continue to recoup and continue on without actually dying. But you really have to pay attention to your pumpkin plants and keep an eye on things. Now, I do want to show you a couple things here as a couple little tips. All right, so finally, because the front yard has not really been doing much of anything, but I do want to show you things are starting to come alive. All right, see that female pumpkin flower right there? See how the petals are still green, but she's nice and plump, and the petals are looking real good. All right, they're looking strong and healthy. Okay. Now I know probably not Tuesday morning, but I would say Wednesday morning. If it's going to get to that bloom stage, and it looks like it is, it will probably bloom Wednesday. But I'll know more tomorrow when I see if there's a change in color of the petals. When they become yellow, that's your sign that the pumpkin flower will open up, whether it's male or female. It will open up the next morning. Now that occurs 99% of the time. I have had some experience where they've turned yellow and the female flower, for whatever reason, did not bloom the next morning. So that's why I say there's about a 99.9% chance it's going to happen. But right now, these petals are still green. So you can't, it's not ready to bloom. But let me take you over to another one that is, and you'll see the comparison and contrast in the two. See if I can find, here it is, right down here. You can already spot it. See the yellowy? Okay, so let's get down here close to see the female flower. I'm gonna move it over just a little bit. All right, see the baby pumpkin right here? And then you have the yellow color flower petals. That tells me that this is going to, 99% chance, it's going to bloom tomorrow morning. And so I looked around to see if there's other male flowers close by that is going to be available for pollination. And there are. You can see here's a male flower here. Yellow petals. It'll open up tomorrow morning. No fruit underneath it, so I know this is a male flower. All right, so the bees will have to work tomorrow. And if I don't notice any, then I will hand pollinate it myself and hopefully be successful. So I just wanted to show you that. And finally, things, like I said, you see this pumpkin flowers leaves right here, how they're just more like cupped facing up like that, and it's got kind of a yellowy green. It's just not getting a lot of nourishment. The leaves are not opening up or anything. These leaves finally seem to have recovered and are doing better on this particular plant. And you can see the other ones are finally starting to open up. And now this right here is not powdery mildew. This is just a variation in the leaf structure. That is totally fine. Not powdery mildew. But you can see how the leaves on these are nice and dark. Not so dark. Really not good at all. So now you can see back there, those are the leaves from it at the beginning when it was doing good. And then all of a sudden, just not so good. So some of the pumpkins have finally outgrown this, the things that were holding them back for a while. And I'm imagining that was squash vine borer activity, but I can't be for sure. But that's what I believe was the reason for it. Blueberries are still continuing to do good. They're putting on their growth. They're putting on their new leaves and everything. So that's doing good. I had this one right here, as you can see, is pretty bare, but it's finally starting to put on some new growth. Hopefully it'll recover. I'm not sure exactly what happened to it, but it took a hit. And here are my peach trees, which I was been eating some peaches off this Alberta peach, and they were very delicious. That is now, all the fruit are now gone off of that. And this thing is done for the season, so it's just a matter of putting on continued new growth like it is up there, and keep it hydrated, keep it going, and then we will see. And then when we get to the season of fall and winter time, I will then be coming out to do some pruning of my peach trees and so forth, and see what's all happened. Okay, well, hopefully that was a quick enough video for you. And maybe I'll be out doing a little video tomorrow morning on the female flower that should bloom, and hopefully we will have some success in the front yard like we are in the back. So for now, I got to go out and deal with those squash bugs. Cannot let them take a hold. Got to get them. All right, so from Pittman's Pumpkin Patch, Pittman's Garden Patch, y'all have a great day now. All right, bye.